Welcome back, dear viewers. Nubia, the hottest and most arid region of the world, has caused many civilizations to be totally dependent on the Nile, on the waters of the Nile for existence. Historically, Nubia has been a nucleus of diverse cultures. Its rich material culture and tradition of languages are seen in archaeological records. And that is some of what encouraged engineer Mohamed Essa, architect, to launch a project of reviving the Nubian art and aiming at green sustainability and eliminating unemployment in the suburbs of Upper Egypt. Let's get to know more with architect engineer Mohamed Essa. A very good day to you, and thank you very much, sir, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Allow me first to ask you what made you think of launching this project. I mean, the first thing that came to your mind, the developments. How did it come to your mind? How did you put it into effect? The initiative to revive Nubian art.
See, I'm architect. I'm working in Dubai from 2005. In 2015, I visited Nubia like any tourist. When I reached to the place, I found that there is integration of nature between the river Nile and the desert and the natural rocks and the greens. Uh, it surprised me that in Egypt, we have in Egypt this place. That's why from this day, I started to learn about Nubian culture and the ancient Egyptian civilization. And from this point, I start to make the planning and the designing and the construction of my project in Nubia.
Perfect. And Engineer Isa, one of your goals is to return back indeed to nature and simplicity.
Yeah.
So how were you able to achieve this goal through your work?
Uh, there is one of our pioneers, pioneer architect called Mies van Droom. He had a moral say less is more.
What's his nationality?
He's German American.
Okay.
Mies van Droom. Less is more. And our ancient Egyptian engineers and architects think same this way. When the first engineer in our age, he's called Imhotep, think about building.
Yes.
Think about a building. He think about very simple shapes. He make a rectangle shape. He calls the step pyramid. Step pyramid is the first and the oldest stone building rested until now. I started to study the ancient Egyptian engineering, architects, how they think, how they built their project, built brick by brick from natural material. They studied deeply the orientation of the building. They studied deeply how they used the natural material. They used the natural stone, natural granite. I tried to think same way.
Okay. And sir, green development is a primary goal for all countries, naturally. To what extent, in your view, has Egypt been able to make progress when it comes to green development?
See, Egypt now, in New Egypt, they are thinking different, and they moved with different steps in the renewable energy and solar energy and waste development and increasing the green areas. You can see there is in our new capital, the river, the Green River. We have in Aswan the biggest solar solar energy planet in Africa, Bimban, yeah. So I think Egypt now they are thinking different, and I think they need to reach to use around 42% of renewable energy by 2035.
And Engineer Isa, how does Nubian art in general reflect simplicity in your view? And how is it linked to green?
See, the Nubian people, they are they are living in River Nile, in front of River Nile, and the art is a reflection of their daily life events, and also the inspiration of the art come from the surrounding natural river and desert and green areas surrounding them.
Okay. And back to your project now. Could you tell us more about your project? What are you doing now in the initiative?
We start to think about our project, as I told you before, from 2015. I spent around 2 years in making studies and the planning and study the culture of Nubian art, the ancient Egyptian architecture, the ancient Egyptian civilization, and we select a site on a hillside in Aswan, direct on River Nile. This area it's located in front of the old cataract, the first cataract. The first cataract was the border between the Nubian kingdom and the ancient Egyptian kingdom. That's why when we are studying our project, we try to make mixing between the Nubian culture and art and the ancient Egyptian engineering and architecture.
Beautiful. How is the initiative to revive Nubian art been able to create jobs and provide job opportunities?
See, we spent and built this project around 7 years. We built our project, hand-made project. We built it brick by brick. We built it in the same way which they are using from 5,000 years. We didn't use machine. We didn't use any artificial elements. We didn't use like steel, CNC, laser cut. So we depend on talented Egyptian labor from Upper Egypt. So our project opened a lot of opportunities to the community in the surrounding village.
Beautiful. How long did it take to implement the project? I mean, you said you had the idea in 2015, then you made the studies. So walk us through, the timeline, if you will, the studies and then the implementation and so on.
See, I spent 2 years. I studied diploma in Egyptology. I read a lot of books about Nubian art and Nubian culture. After that, we made the design stage took around 1 year, and the construction take around 5 years. 5 years, as I told you before, it's the place. It's not near the city. It's out of city. The back side there is desert, and the front side River Nile.
And architect Essa, are you going to are you thinking of doing a parallel project and spreading this to other cultures? I mean, Egypt is the land of diversity. We have so many cultures, and we are so rich in history. So, do you have any ideas about reviving another culture, perhaps, other than the Nubian culture?
For sure, I hope so, because when I made this project, I was thinking about the tourists. When they come, they will see how we built this project, how we made the artwork on the walls. We did the artwork on the wall in the same way which are used the ancient Egyptian in the wall of temples. We made high relief sculpture and deep relief sculpture. We used all the same techniques which are using. So we are try to introduce our civilization, and as you told, there is diversity in culture and civilization in Egypt. Inshallah, we hope so. If we get the support, we'll make it in another cities.
Okay. Nubian culture had long been neglected, unfortunately, for for big time. But now it's back to life again. Could you tell us about, and you went to Nubia and you met Nubian people. How are they feeling now that their culture and their art is being revived after being neglected for so long?
See, Nubia, we are linked between Nubia with River Nile. So we are same. We are one country. We have, as you told, diversity in culture. There is mixing between the ancient Egyptian civilization and the culture and the art and Nubian art. So now we have to tell to the tourists and the guests who coming to us, it's a part from Egypt. We have to show him how they think, how they live, how they cook, how they make the artwork in homes. This is what we are trying to introduce part from our culture.
And architect Essa, what are the most common Nubian artifacts?
Pottery, for sure, and jewelries. and sculpturing and carpets and textiles, and they are talented people. They are يعني they can play with the granite like muds. They are very talented people.
Like what?
Like mud يعني the granite
right.
like mud.
Okay, sure. Um, Nubia has a lot of colorful houses. I mean, they love colors out there.
Yeah.
It's very lively. It's very beautiful. From where did that come from? I mean,
See, as I told you, the Nubian art is the reflection of nature. So, the common color in Nubia you'll find the white, the blue, the green,
the yellow. I
and
see
the
a
yellow.
lot of yellow. Yeah.
Yellow. What is the blue? Is the Nile. What is the green? Is the palm tree and the green farms. What is the yellow? Is the desert. So,
We also see brown and red.
the brown and red come from the oxide from the desert. So they are using what is in nature. Because if you see the desert in Aswan and in Nubia, you will find that limestone, brown, red. So everything comes from nature there.
Most of the architecture followed the Nubian ways to build healthy houses. I mean, Nubia was a leader, was a role model, wasn't it, for other buildings in other parts of Egypt?
For sure, and our great architect Hassan Fathi, he's Egyptian, who introduced the Nubian architecture to all over the world. He built houses in USA, in Spain, Nubian style, with talented labor come from Upper Egypt, and the new generation from this labor worked with me in my project.
Beautiful. Finally, architect Essa, how do you view the museum built by UNESCO in Aswan to bring Nubian culture to the world?
For sure, this museum introduce the Nubian culture in different era, from ancient to Islamic to Christian era until the new era to all over the world. But what we are doing in Nubian and Aswan, Nubian village, we are trying to make like open air museum in the Nubian village.
That's wonderful. It's beautiful to hear. We commend you on your efforts, architect Mohamed Essa, owner of the project to revive Nubian art and culture. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
On Nile
Thank you.
Cruise.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dear viewers, please stay with us. We'll be back momentarily. Don't go away.
The Ministry of Tourism said that the tourist flow to Egypt witnessed accelerated increase in the first quarter of 2023. The inbound tourism movement witnessed a growth rate of 43% during the first 3 months of 2023 compared to the same period last year.